This is going to be, we ended the year with so much excitement last year. The championship and a tie. Tony wins with the most wins. What a great finish we had to 2011. But, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get up on your feet. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Truex from the pole led the drag race to turn 1, but that's Jamie McMurray, #1 on the high side, taking the lead off 2.
He got quite a push from Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car when they took the green flag here on the start-finish line area.
Joey Logano locked onto the back bumper of Earnhardt, and he goes to the lead entering turn 3.
It's been a while since Junior won a race, but the first time he drove a Hendrick Motorsports car right here 3 years ago, he won this very race.
3 wide off turn 4. Around a complete lap 1. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joey Logano, Martin Truex, McMurray side by side with David. Now teammates hook up. 29 Harvick and 27 Paul Menard from Richard Childress Racing. They hook up, and instead of all the tandem racing we saw last year, Darrell, it kind of looks like catch and release racing. I'll help you down the straightaway, then I'll let you go a little bit, then we'll get together and we'll try again.
You see it right there, Mike. As you just said, Menard pushed Harvick down the back straightaway into the 3rd turn, but he had to get off of him, and that opened the door for Dale Jr. to come right back.
But one reason that they have to do that is because these cars start overheating a lot quicker with the rule package that we have right now.
And they don't just start.
Trouble turn 2.
No.
5, 6 cars in it. And more. The dreaded consequence of pack racing is the big one.
Yep.
Paul Menard, the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
I can't even tell whose car that is.
That's actually David Reagan in the 34.
And Michael Waltrip will not go to victory lane tonight.
Oh.
First caution of the night, mid-pack between turns 1 and 2. From the blimp. Let's see what happens. Murray in the one coming up, and Reagan gets in the back of Menard.
Yeah, that's what happened. He got down on that left side and pushed him right around. You just cannot touch a guy on the left rear corner or you're going to wreck him.
Montoya and Gordon get away. Kenseth's involved. The 55 of Michael Waltrip, heavy damage. Tony Stewart in the 14 scoots through. He goes tail end of the field. We're back under green. 15 down, 10 to go to the halftime break.
I think there's about 3 or 4 cars that have really shown me a lot of speed. That 29's one, the 1 car's one, Dale Jr.'s 88 car, and maybe the Napa car of Truex. I'm just not sure how good he is yet.
Our top 6 drivers did not pit on that caution right there.
Saw the speedy dry down in turns 1 and 2 from the accident.
And Mike, this could be the end of the race. And you see what we've got. We've got 29 and 1, Harvick and McMurray pushing each other away from the pack. And this is what guys are going to be thinking about coming into the race. I mean, he was left, right on the back of Carl Edwards' 99 car, but Carl hung on to her.
And now Carl Edwards has not hung on to his teammate Greg Biffle in that 16. He jumps down there in the 2nd spot behind Jeff Gordon in the 24.
Boy, is that Matt Kenseth back there in that 17 car up high trying to come off turn 4?
It is.
Woo! High, wide, and handsome.
Danica watching from the spotter's perch high atop the Daytona Tower, the Sprint Tower here. Look how far back Kyle Busch fell, back behind Greg Biffle on the outside. That's back to about 9th place.
Now, see, when they got last year, when they get 2 cars like that, they wouldn't just kind of creep by like they're doing here. They would absolutely fly by. So there's definitely been a big change.
Steve?
want to give you an update on Greg Biffle at the halfway break, or at the intermission rather, Mike. They had a little damage to the left rear of that car. Biffle says he's been flat-footing it throughout the entire race, and one issue is he is not comfortable with his rear view mirror as he heads to the point.
Greg Biffle back up front with his Daytona 500 car, and those are different cars than we're seeing tonight. Greg Biffle won both practice sessions today.
I think the Biff is showing what we always said about him. He's a wheel man tonight.
And Darrell, as they came through the trial for, I believe, the first time tonight, they were 4 wide.
They're a little brave on these restarts, and for they got fresh tires. This is as good as your car's going to be as far as grip goes, grip level.
And we're riding with Clint Boyer in that 15 car. Remember, Clint told us at the break that his car seems to want to overheat when he's tucked up behind another driver.
He's got about a car length of breathing room to Carl Edwards right now. Riding with Jimmy Johnson. That's Harvick to his right.
You can kind of hear Jimmy playing with the throttle a little bit. He's kind of working his way along.
Krista.
Well, Jimmy Johnson was sort of hanging back in that first segment because he was concerned with the possibility of overheating. But when I talked to him in that break, he said the drivability on this car is great. I can go anywhere on the track that I want.
Well, Clint Boyer just went anywhere but loose.
Oh, man, he was about ready to go into Lake Lloyd. I'm telling you, that baby was out of control.
Let's have another look.
I'm pretty sure at some point right here, he let go of the steering wheel and let it correct itself, because he is gone right here. Whoa.
Well, yeah, his teammate Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 was pushing him, but he couldn't go anywhere because Carl Edwards in the 99's right there.
Here we go.
Well, that gives a new meaning to bump and run, doesn't it? The Budweiser Shootout on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Coming around to complete lap 47 of 75. Whoa. And forging to the front is Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Jeff Gordon side by side, and everybody right with them.
Kevin Harvick in that 29, he needed to get to the front because we've been watching him during commercial break. He was starting to overheat back in the pack. There goes Kyle Busch in the 18.
Oh, and he almost saved it, and he did. Oh, my goodness.
He's one of the few drivers that could drive out of that right there.
Yeah, but look at that front valence there. Going down on the flat and coming back up may have damaged that car.
He damaged the nose a little bit, but that's a lot better than knocking them M&Ms off the side of it.
And up front, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. have some racing room in front of Jamie McMurray and Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, when that happened, that kind of scattered everybody, and they've kind of separated here.
But, Larry, see, that kind of proves what I was saying there a minute ago about the side force. Seems like when these cars get sideways, they want to straighten themselves back up, and that's good news. But they are a little light in the rear.
I'll tell you, Wild Thing just did one of the darndest piece of driving I've ever seen. Watch the 18 of Kyle Busch here. Just in front of Matt Kenseth.
Ooh, I think he gets a nudge right there by the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson. But listen, there are very few people that have ever driven a car, one of these stock cars, anywhere that could do what he just did. That is unbelievable talent.
And I think the thing to stress when that all started, I'm sure he was right at about 196, 197 miles an hour.
What that did was split the pack in two.
Rode not once but twice, one time during the break, to bleed the brakes on Marcus's car because I think he was trail braking so much, Darrell, he was overheating the brakes.
Yeah, I think it was boiling the fluid. That's what we kind of determined and why they kept having to bleed them. But that's something you don't know when you come and test. That's something that happens during a race, and they'll probably address that before the 500.
The front pack goes single file, and the second group's march on the front has stopped for the moment. Tony Stewart stuck at 3.6 seconds behind race leader Greg Biffle as they try to close in on the front 10 with 21 lap trouble. Turn 2.
Dale Jr. is there. I see him. See a 29 car.
Kenseth in the
17.
Truex is in it.
That's a bunch of torn up cars right there.
Logano. Oh boy. That is Martin Truex, Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth.
That's his second wreck of the night.
Harv's car is killed. Uh-oh. You better shut that baby off.
No, tail light, you're on fire, Kevin.
Yeah, get out of that thing, man.
Yeah, turn left to the fire truck here.
He's trying to get to the fire truck.
Yeah, that's not something to play with right there.
Stop, there's a fire truck there. Stop, stop. There's a fire truck there. No brakes, Billy.
What?
All right, jam the thing in gear, see if it will roll down. Fire's out, we're fine.
It's funny. It just shows you what a driver is in his own little compartment, his own little world. He has no idea how much fire is coming out from under that car.
And with the smoke in the hood up and smoke in the cockpit, hard to see anything in any direction. I would guess, Gerald, you can look out that left window and use the grass and the white line as your guide. If you can. Talking to Billy O'Day, the spotter.
Yeah. Joey Logano in the 20 makes that left-hand turn to the garage area. His night will come to a close.
And here comes the crash truck to aid Harvick, whose night also appears to be over. Big pile up here with 20 laps to go. Kevin coasts into the garage. Let's have a look, see if we can figure out how this got started.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know what happened here. We'll take a look. Logano is up on the outside of Jimmy Johnson there in the 48. He gets a little bit loose, and then it looks like Marcos gets into the 9 car. Marcos gets into the back of him, and it's on.
And when Logano got a little loose and lost that momentum, might that have carried Martin Truex into the back end of Ambrose and created one of those accordion-like collisions?
Remember how we said maybe in our practice show, maybe when this race started, with the 2-car tandem, we'd probably have a lot of little wrecks. But with this kind of racing, we're going to have a lot of big wrecks.
There's the contact that sent Logano around from Ambrose. And by now, Truex is fully up the back of Marcus Ambrose bumper.
And so far, every wreck we've had has been from a driver pushing another driver right in that left rear quarter panel.
Dale Jr. tried to miss it, couldn't. Kevin Harvick couldn't. And Matt Kenseth gets turned and goes hard into the wall.
I guess, Larry, that'll be the next project for NASCAR. Find out how we stop these cars from spinning out when they get pushed on the left-hand side.
Stewart. Kyle Busch leads from Jeff Gordon. 3 to go.
This is it, boys. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to have to do it now.
Kurt to the outside behind Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon to the bottom. Kyle Busch trying to block.
The 24 car is going to be the guy to beat. He's the man when it gets down to these end of these races.
But you see Ambrose in that 9. He's just pushing Kurt Busch in that 51 car now. Here comes McMurray in the 1, pushing Stewart in the 14.
Now look at Jeff Gordon. He's trying to figure out, should I block? Should I block? Should I stay here? Here comes his teammate. Here comes some help.
2 laps to go, and Tony Stewart comes around the outside. He had help from McMurray. No longer. McMurray drops back. Gordon with Kyle Busch, and Stewart slices down in front of all of them.
Tony Stewart, our current champion, trying to pick up where he left off. Look at Kyle Busch there, sideways again in that 18 car.
Well, he's driving really defensively right now. He's trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him, and Jeff is working him over. Look at that. Jeff's going to move him up out of the groove and get by him.
Whoa, Busch is around. Can he save it this time?
Oh, there you go.
He does. He saves it. But there's a
Jeff Gordon's upside down. Jeff Gordon's upside down.
And Kurt Busch's car is destroyed.
Oh, my gosh. Jimmy Johnson's car destroyed.
Track crew quickly on the scene to aid Jeff Gordon. On the radio, he has told his team he is okay.
Yeah, I see him. I think I can see him moving.
A wild ride for Jeff Gordon as he tries to win the Bud Shootout, just a lap and a half from the flag. Teammate Jimmy Johnson's car damaged. Several cars to the garage already. Kyle Busch to pit road. Montoya's made a stop and comes back out.
It's been like a demolition derby tonight. Holy cow.
Tony Stewart and shootout rookie Marcus Ambrose ahead of Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, and Greg Biffle. Jeff Gordon has asked for them to roll the car over before he tries to climb out.
Michael can address that situation. Michael, you were upside down here a few years ago over on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Michael's a lot bigger than Jeff, and the cars were a lot littler, and that was a bad combination. I could not get out, and you're talking about freaking you out. Be upside down in a car, it's smoking, you see oil or fuel, something dripping around you, you want out really badly, and Jeff's doing his best to explain that to those guys, probably about like I was explaining it, with not the calmest manner.
No, but you know what, Michael? After your deal down here, they came up with a system to turn that car back over. You see them putting those straps around the car. When they turned you over, they just pretty much hooked a record to you and slung you back on your wheels.
And Jeff climbed out the side there. I think he got out. So that's what I love about these big cars, Darrell. There's more room for those guys to get in and out, and that's a lot safer.
Jeff Gordon gets a round of applause from the crowd here, and he is okay. Let's see what happened.
I think it's really Jeff trying to get the 18 car Kyle Busch up out of the way.
Pushing on that left side again.
Yeah, he's just working on him, Michael. Kyle was blocking, and Jeff was trying to get him loose and get him up out of the way, and he just got on the left side and spun him out.
Look at the job Ambrose and Boyer did coming through there. And there's our buddy old Brad Keselowski. We ain't seen him up front all night. He's fixing to restart with a chance to win this baby.
Yeah, I asked Larry, I said, is Brad Keselowski in this race?
Well, yeah. Jeff Gordon's car went about 1,000 feet on the driver's door before it barrel rolled to a stop.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski in that too. He's in that backup car.
You see Jeff down there. He just gets down on his left corner, and we've seen that time and time and time again.
You got to stay off the left side. What do we do about that, though, man? How do we fix it? The drivers just have to make the decision that they've got to lay off that left side.
Look at this long slide for Gordon, and that's Kurt Busch tangled up with him and Jimmy Johnson. And that car still hasn't lost much of its momentum as it goes side over side and comes to rest.
Michael
on
made
its roof.
A really good point, though, Mike. These cars are so much bigger than the cars were 5 years ago. With the safety innovations that NASCAR has built into these cars, the drivers moved over to the center of the car 6 inches further than ever before. The roll cage is bigger. that really helped Jeff Gordon in that situation.
Green flag. Stewart brings him across the line. Ambrose getting a big push from Keselowski.
Both rows are 5 drivers pushing each other. Now you don't worry about that water temperature gauge.
No, she's cooled down and good to go. The 11 car down below the yellow line there, but he didn't advance his position.
But Boyer could not stay with Tony Stewart, and that's cost Tony the lead. The Tasmanian Devil, Marcus Ambrose, 2-time champion of the Australian V8 Supercar Series and Watkins Glen winner last year. He's got a shot to win the Bud Shootout.
Yeah, he's got Brad Keselowski in that 2-car pushing him. Ryan Newman in the 39 was pushing those two till they got about halfway down the back straightaway.
Kyle Busch's car is dragging the track, fenders flying.
But look at the
here
run that him and Tony Stewart's got, Darrell.
Here they come.
White flag. 1 lap to go, and Busch pushes Stewart to the lead. Ambrose tucks in third.
That 18 car has got to be a mess.
Now, what do you do?
But that man wheeling it, he don't care. And this is where you see your 2-car tandem right here.
Remember, he'll try to beat you when he gets over here.
You know who that was? That's Steve Addington.
Who used to be Kyle's crew chief and is now Tony's crew chief.
He will try to beat you.
1 mile to the finish line of the Budweiser Shootout. Tony Stewart or Kyle Busch, who's going to win it?
I don't know if Kyle's got it. Remember what happened the last time these two were coming to a start-finish line back in the July race?
Smoke versus Wild Thing to the line.
He got him! He got him!
Wild Thing wins!
He got him! I ain't believing it.
He timed it absolutely perfect.
I ain't believing it.
So that's 3 times tonight he's done the wildest piece of driving I've ever seen. That kid is such a wheelman.
And people wonder why we get so excited about when he races and when he does what he does. There's nobody that can do what he does.
By 1/100th of a second, Kyle Busch is the champion of the Budweiser Shootout.
Look at his race car. It is destroyed.
Larry, it was dragging the ground, sparks flying out from under it, and he timed that beautifully.
There it is on Fox Extreme slow motion.
Winning your first Budweiser Shootout, y'all want it to be memorable. Could that race be any more crazy for you?
Oh, man. I don't know how many times I spun out, but I didn't spin out, you know. Amazing race. I can't say enough about all these guys. This M&M's Camry was fast, and it's fun to drive when I wasn't getting turned around, but, you know, it's a tough race, but a fun race. Glad to see the pack back like that and making it interesting for us drivers. Hopefully it was great for the fans as much as it was for us drivers. And, again, first race back in the M&M's car. We're in victory lane, so that's pretty cool. Can't say enough about Interstate Batteries, Toyota, the Sprint Cup Series, thanks Sprint, and Monster Energy. Thanks for giving me my boost.
Work me through the approach and the move on Stewart for the win.
Well, somebody was in front of me. The 39 and the somebody, and they got hooked up and went, and I'm like, okay, well, I was trying to stay with the 39, but I pulled low and got in behind Stewart and just wade mode right up through there. He had a fast car and took us by those guys around the outside, and I'm like, it's a 2-guy race right now, and it's going to be either me or him coming to the start-finish line out of turn 4. And I've seen the move done before. It was my turn to do it this time. Stewart had me the last time here in July a couple years ago, so glad it was the M&M's car and putting it here in victory lane. Can't say enough about electric sunglasses, all the folks there. So everybody on this car, Double Mint, Snickers, all the fine folks at M&M's.
He scores a win in February. Let's go to Chris Devoto standing by with the guy he just beat.
Yeah, Matt, Tony came on the radio and said, guys, I just don't know what I could have done. Well, now you have a week to formulate a plan. Can you figure it out?
Yeah, it can be done. It's just I got part of it. I just didn't get all of what I needed to do there at the end. But still, considering where this car was yesterday, I'm really proud of Steve Addington and Tony Gibson, Greg Zipadelli. All 3 teams at Stewart-Haas Racing just did an awesome job to get this Mobile and Office Depot Chevy back together. So, and they even let me work on it with them, which is it's kind of scary the thought of it, but it was cool to be there with those guys, and it kind of sucked to screw it up yesterday, but really proud of how good a job they did to give us a car that was that good at the end.
It's a good run, champ. Thanks.